Hello guys and welcome to today's vlog. It's just gonna be a Q&A today because life has been crazy. It's been so busy, especially since having like a third baby and everything. I literally feel like I'm just spread so thin. So I'm excited to do a little vlog and Q&A and just like catch up with you guys. And I'm gonna get ready while I do this. I'm trying to figure out where I should put my mirror, if I wanna like actually set it here or if I wanna hold it. Okay, I guess I'll put it right there. I also have my protein shake for breakfast. This is peaches and cream. I'm trying out a couple different flavors. Usually I like vegan protein powder, but I've been trying out Clean Simple Eats. This is not sponsored by them. I wish it was because I feel like they sponsor all of my friends, but I got a couple of their little like individual protein powder packs to try out. So I've been trying out some of their flavors. Today we have peaches and cream, pretty yummy, but we're gonna go ahead and start with the questions. I literally feel like my brain is like scrambled. So hopefully I can pull it together to film this today. I didn't even have to get up with the baby last night. She only woke up once, which is amazing, and Parker got up with her and gave her a bottle, so I should feel rejuvenated, but I do not. So anyways, first question, how are you feeling postpartum the third time and how does it compare to the other 2 times? So this has definitely been, I feel like, the hardest adjustment, which makes sense obviously because the more kids you have, like it makes sense that it's gonna be harder, even though a lot of people say going from 2 to 3 is like very easy. I don't know why they say that. I really do not know. I wouldn't say this is actually my hardest. Actually, I don't know if I would say this is my hardest like postpartum recovery. I feel like I'm like so out of that now because it's been a while. I don't even know how many weeks old the baby is now. Maybe like 10. Like I have no idea because time is just going by so fast and I cannot keep up with literally anything. I feel spread very thin. That's how I will answer that question. Next question though is, would you ever consider having a 4th baby? And I feel like this is my last baby. I'm treating this like it's my last baby. Do I feel like I need to decide now? No, because I'm only 28 and I literally have a newborn. It's very easy for me to not want to think about like getting pregnant again. Do I think I will have a 4th baby? No, but am I 100% sure? Also no. Tips for enjoying the newborn phase as a first timer when everything will feel like a lot. I feel like one of my biggest things that was most helpful for me is tracking what my baby does on an app. I feel like some people would maybe like hate doing this and it would overwhelm them, but I feel overwhelmed if I don't do it. So I just use the baby tracker app and you can track like their sleep, their diapers, your pumping. You can basically track like everything. So I like to track when my baby is sleeping and awake and when my baby's eating because I usually try to feed them like every 3 hours. That's like what you're supposed to do with a newborn, like 3 hours or more. But I just feel like sometimes it feels too chaotic and I feel like I don't know what's going on if I can't look at the app and be like, wait, how long have they been awake? Wait, how long ago did I feed them? Obviously you can like look at the clock and be like, okay, I'm feeding my baby at 1, but it's just too hard to like keep track of that every single time. So using an app to just like keep track of when my baby's sleeping and when my baby's awake, especially because I do like to have my babies on a routine, not necessarily from like the very first day, but I do try to follow an eat, awake, sleep schedule pretty early on, just like very loosely. And then I try and follow it like a little bit closer as they get bigger. I feel like when I don't track what my baby's doing, I literally just feel like everything is so chaotic and I feel like I don't know what's going on at all. Like, especially with more than one baby. I know this question is about like your first baby, but I even did this with my first baby too and I feel like it was super helpful. Literally takes 2 seconds. You just like click the button when they fall asleep and then click the button when they wake up and then also click like when they eat. I used to time all of my feedings and stuff when I first had a baby and was like first breastfeeding and figuring it out, and I don't do that now. And I don't think I did that with my second baby either, just because I was like more comfortable with what I was doing and I didn't feel like I needed to. Yeah, I feel like that is something that's really helpful for me and it helped me just like feel more organized basically. I also recommend the Taking Care of Babies newborn sleep course and the lactation link breastfeeding course if you want to breastfeed. I love doing courses because everything's just like in one spot and it's really easy for me to just like sit and learn and like digest everything. You can find a lot of info about those things online for free, but I would rather just pay like, I don't even know how much they are, but pay like $100 to just have everything all together and be able to like watch it all together instead of having to spend a lot of time like researching and kind of like putting things together on my own. Yeah, I feel like those are my biggest tips for like newborn life. Still thinking about moving to Cali. Yes, still thinking about it literally every day. What shows / movies are you into right now? I've been watching Buying Beverly Hills. Is that what it's called? Yes, on Netflix. I think Buying London just came out. I haven't started that one yet, but I've been watching Buying Beverly Hills, and then I've also been watching Survivor. That's what I am currently watching. I also want to start watching Sex and the City, so I think I'm going to start that soon because I'm pretty sure I'm almost done with Buying Beverly Hills. I'm like part of the way through the 2nd season. So, okay, overrated / unnecessary baby products, pregnant and trying to be minimal in the early months. First one that I'm thinking of is a wipe warmer. I'm sure that would be nice to have, but especially when your baby is like really tiny, you kind of want the cold wipes to like wake them up when you're changing their diaper if you're trying to like feed them and stuff, because they're just so sleepy and sometimes they're like too sleepy that you can't get them to eat. So I feel like a wipe warmer kind of would defeat the purpose of like having the cold wipe help to wake your baby up. I'm trying to think of what else is like very, very popular. I'm gonna look up most popular baby products. Oh, something else that I also don't have is a diaper trash. I can't remember if we had one when we first had Cove. I feel like maybe we did, but we literally just like did not use it at all. So I feel like shoes. Babies do not need shoes. Little babies don't need shoes. And honestly, even socks. My babies never wear socks because they just kick them off. I would rather just have like footed clothes. I feel like I listed enough. Those are a couple that I feel like I just haven't really felt a need for. Any plans to reopen Luca and Gray? So I'm sure most of you guys remember my clothing store that I had for a lot of years. And I think we closed it. It's been like a year now. And I kind of wanted to leave it with like the door potentially being open if we wanted to like reopen it. But I also knew when I was closing it that I wanted to have another baby and that I just literally could not like keep going the way that I was going with work if I was gonna have another baby. And now that I have a baby and feel overwhelmed, I think I'm gonna officially say that the answer to that is no. I don't think we will ever reopen. Does that mean that I would never have like another business or something when my kids are a little bit older? No, I feel like I would consider that idea, but I don't think now that I'm like so far out of it that I would open something like that again and do clothing again. It was fun while we did it, but it definitely got harder once I had more kids, and now I have even more kids than I did when we ended that. So I think unfortunately the answer to that one is no. Was the adjustment from 2 to 3 babies harder or easier than you thought? I feel like it's probably been about the same as what I thought. I was very nervous, and I did say that her being in the NICU for a little bit didn't like make things easier, but it kind of made it slightly more smooth because I could go to the NICU and just focus on the baby and then come home and just focus on the other kids. Obviously I would have rather had her like not be in the NICU and just be able to come straight home, but I feel like it's been about the same as I thought, and I thought that it would be kind of hard. So yeah. How is the SNOO working? So you guys can see right here, I have this SNOO. We've had it for a couple weeks now, but we went out of town. So I think that she only slept in it for like maybe 2 or 3 nights before we left. Now she's been in it again for a couple of nights. I feel like it does help and I do like it and recommend it. But what I will say about it is I wouldn't get it unless you feel like you need it. Like I wouldn't get it as your main bassinet before you even have your baby and before you see like how they are and how they sleep. I don't think it's something that I would have needed with my other girls because they didn't really have a problem with like their normal bassinet, but this baby does not really like to sleep in her bassinet. So the SNOO has been helpful. If you don't know what it is, it's like a bassinet that like, I don't really know if it has like a motion sensor or what, but basically it will kind of like rock your baby if it starts to cry, and then if it's like still crying, it will rock it like a little bit more. So it kind of just helps to like soothe your baby, and it's been super helpful since this baby wakes up a lot. She's actually been a little bit better now that I've been giving her a little bit more formula. I feel like she's like allergic to something in my breast milk because she just spits up so much and she was so sad. It's like so weird that she's doing better on formula versus breast milk, but she is. So I've kind of been like combo feeding, but since I'm doing more formula now, she's done a little bit better with like sleeping and stuff in general. So I do feel like that and the SNOO have been super helpful. I'm just renting it. I'm renting it for like a month. I rented it on Baby Quip. I think you can also maybe rent it like from their website, but I was just able to get it on Baby Quip faster, and I was very desperate, so I just did that. And I think that the lady said this is like their slow season or something, so basically it was like a better price than usual. So I just rented it for like a month, and I might extend and do it for like a little bit longer. I need to kind of like test it out and see how my baby does sleeping just in her bassinet. But anyways, I do recommend, but I will say I wouldn't get it until you feel like you have your baby and you're like seeing how they are and you feel like you need it, just because it is kind of expensive and you can get something that's like less expensive. Next question, what was your NICU experience like? I feel like we actually had a pretty good NICU experience because we had our own room. Since I've talked about it, some people have been like, oh, my NICU, it like was kind of like a baby nursery where there's like tons of babies like all in the same room and the parents just have like a chair to hang out in. That would have been really hard because it's just like a lot to be there and it's very draining, and just like medical stuff in general when there's like nurses and stuff in and out and there's like cords everywhere and like beeping and just a lot of stuff going on. It was really nice to have like our own private space. So I feel like that made it a little bit like easier. And then also just the fact that my baby was doing well the whole time. There wasn't anything that was like very big or concerning. The only reason she was in there is just because she was early and basically just kind of needed to like catch up with things. So that made it a little bit less stressful knowing that there wasn't like something that was wrong and she was basically just there to like get a little bit of extra help that she needed. So as hard as it was, I feel like it could have been a lot harder. So I don't want to say it was good, but we got through it and it was not too traumatic, thankfully. Do you still see yourself doing content creation for the next 5 years? years. Honestly, probably. I've never really thought about what I would do after this because I've just been doing this for so long now. My 15-year anniversary is coming up. It's in August. So I've literally been doing this since I was a child, since I was 14. As long as I am still able to like provide for my family and this is making sense for me, then I feel like I'll still be doing it. I really don't have a reason to like do something else. If I wasn't making any money, then I couldn't do it because I literally like would not have time to have a different job and be a mom and do this, because as much as people think like it's not a job or whatever, it still takes up time. So as long as I'm still able to provide for my family doing this, I will be doing it. But in 5 years, I will have been doing this for 20 years, which is crazy to think about, but you never know. So next question, will you ever go blonde again? I really don't think so, which is so crazy because I used to get like, not actually offended, but when I was blonde and people would ask if I was ever gonna go back to my natural color, I would be like, how can you even say that? That would look so ugly. But I'm actually obsessed with my hair color right now. I haven't dyed it since December of 2022. So you can see the top is like a little bit darker than the bottom because it's kind of grown out, but it's grown out like very natural. Maybe I can take off my headband, but my hair is kind of crazy on the top. But I love the color right now. I really don't see myself ever going blonde, especially not the type of blonde that I was. I feel like I would maybe add like maybe a tiny bit lighter or something, kind of like a golden blonde, like 90s blonde kind of, but I really don't know if I ever will do that. And I definitely would never go as blonde as I was. But it's so funny because I used to think that like my natural color would look so hideous, and now I think it's like such a good color. Only like half of it is actually my natural color, but just like being darker like this, I really like. Yeah, I feel like I answered that question kind of a lot, but I get asked that a lot. So do you miss sharing more of the girls/relationship? Although we understand why you are not. I do not miss it at all. I wish that I had done things differently, like from the beginning with sharing less of them. So I really don't miss sharing anything. I love not sharing. Obviously I still share like a little, and I still share like mom content. So I'll share like what I made them for lunch or something like that, but I'm not sharing them in the way that I was, and I don't miss doing that at all. And I try to not have regrets, but if I could go back in time, I would share like so much less of what I ever shared. So no, I do not miss it at all. It's just so much better to like keep my family private and like not share online. So the next one kind of goes with that actually. It says, what regrets do you have about your past on YouTube? Like I said, I try to not have like regrets because there's just no point. Like you can't go back and do anything about it. But I think just the older that I get, I really understand more what it means to like share so much online. And I feel like times are kind of just like different anyways. Like not that it was ever safe to share your kids, but back a few years ago, like it just wasn't looked at the same as it is now. I've just shared so much of my life online for so long. And I really feel like when you hit 25 and your brain fully finishes like developing, you just start thinking about things differently. So yeah, I don't have like regrets, but it is hard to look back and not think like, oh, I wish I had done things differently. Just sharing like less photos of my kids, less videos of my kids, and just like my family in general. I don't know. My content and like how I share things is just so different now that I look back and I'm like, oh, that's so weird that I like did that, but it is what it is. So what kind of tasks does your nanny do throughout the day? So we don't technically have a nanny, but we have a babysitter. The only reason she's not a nanny in my eyes is because she doesn't have like consistent hours with us, like every Tuesday and Thursday from this time to this time. We kind of just go week by week, and I'm like, hey, can you come on Tuesday this week, or can you come on like Wednesday this week, or whatever. So we do have help with the kids, but I only don't consider it a nanny because I feel like a nanny is like those consistent hours. So she's more of just like a babysitter, but she actually was our nanny. So yeah, but basically all she does is help with the girls. She plays with them. She's here right now. So she doesn't really do a ton of tasks besides taking care of them. She will put away their laundry if it's clean. And then obviously she like feeds them lunch and stuff, but I don't really have her do anything like extra than that. I feel like sometimes she'll maybe like clean up something. If there was like pans in the sink or something and she's already like washing dishes, then maybe she would wash those, but I don't like ask her to do that. So she mostly just kind of takes care of like the kid things. She'll like pick up the playroom before she leaves and just like kid tasks. So yeah. Next question is a good one. It says, how do you keep on going when sometimes it's just all too much? I feel like I don't have a choice. So you literally just have to. I don't know. Does it feel sad to close the chapter on pregnancy/newborns? It feels interesting because obviously, like I said earlier, I'm not 100% sure this is my last baby, but I feel like it is. Before I had decided to have another baby, I feel like I kind of already had accepted closing that chapter on pregnancy and newborns because I wasn't sure if I would have another one. And Lola was already like getting to be kind of bigger. I don't remember how old she was, but she was already kind of getting to be a little bit older. She was like out of the baby phase. So I was like, okay, if I don't have another baby or I'm never pregnant again, then it's kind of nice that I didn't know or like realize that it was my last time doing those things when I was doing it, because sometimes when you know it's your last time, it's like more sad instead of like, oh, I didn't even realize that was the last time. So I feel like I had kind of like accepted that when Lola was bigger and I just like didn't know that it was happening. So it was like, okay, well, moving on now. But now that I do have another newborn and I like was pregnant for the last time, it is more sad to like realize like, oh, I probably like won't ever do this again. I won't have a newborn again. I won't be pregnant again. I won't give birth again. Somebody's crying. So I do feel like it does feel sad. And I kind of preferred when it was like I didn't know that it was the last time, even though obviously that didn't end up being the last time when I have Lola because I ended up having another baby. But it is like more sad to be like processing that as it's happening versus looking back and being like, that was special. Last question, why won't you share your new baby's name when you already shared your other two? So I haven't shared her name. Some of you guys still ask like, oh, did I miss it? And did you share her name? And I haven't shared it. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to. And it kind of just goes along with like everything that I've said that I wish I had just like shared less of my kids. If I could go back, I wouldn't share the other girls' names. I would share just like nicknames for them. So I'm sure I'll share one for this baby eventually, like I've said a few times, but I just think it's safer and better to like not have my child's legal name like shared online because I shared it. Yeah, I wish I could go back and not share the other girls' names, but I can't. So all I can do moving forward is just learn from like how I feel differently now. Yeah, I don't think that I will ever share it, but I'm just waiting for like a nickname to come up for her. I call her a million nicknames, but they're very close to her name. So I feel like it just doesn't make sense to like share those, but eventually I probably will have something, but I don't really see a problem with just calling her like baby or baby sister or baby girl for now. So yeah, that was the last question. I haven't even been paying attention to like what makeup I did. I feel like I just did all of that on like autopilot. So I'm trying to think if I like forgot anything, but I just need some setting spray. I have a huge list of stuff to get done today while our babysitter is here. So that is going to be all for this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. It was fun to just catch up and answer some questions. Hopefully I made sense with anything that I was saying because I literally just feel like my brain is so scrambled. Like 3 kids is just so many, but I love them and they are my little perfect babies. So we are in a little bit of survival mode, but that's okay. Anyways, hope you guys liked this video and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.